We have the most ridiculous situation right now in Formula One, and we're going to talk all about it. This is the hottest property in F1, is currently a free agent, and we think there's an obvious move for Carlos Sainz, but we think there is a potentially legendary move for Carlos Sainz where he could become a multiple Formula One world champion. Let's get straight into it. Here with Sam Professional Carter. So we're in this situation where the only driver to have won a Formula One race, apart from Verstappen, over the last, 30 races or something.
Oh yeah, he broke his streak last time.
In Singapore.
Yeah.
He's a nemesis of Verstappen. He's put himself on his brake disc. Is Carlos Sainz, the smooth operator, someone I've been saying for a long time? He looks like he's got that dog in him. He's got that fight in him. He's won again in Australia. He was a driver that took that race literally by the scruff of his neck and said, I'm going to win this race, putting in some incredible laps. He has been essentially fired from Ferrari. Ironically, Lewis Hamilton is taking that seat, who has had a terrible start to the season. Yep. He's saying it's his worst season basically ever at the beginning. Let's start off with the obvious question, which is, do Ferrari want to kind of just keep Carlos Sainz? I mean, why would you not?
At the moment, looking at everything going with it, Carlos Sainz is their number one driver. He's got the pace. He's won a race. Even
after having appendix surgery.
Exactly. Maybe that's the key.
All the drivers are going to get our same surgery.
How many appendixes do you have?
Well, too many. That's why I haven't won Formula 1 World Championship. But, I think Carlos Sainz is just in this head-to-head with Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, very good qualifier. But Carlos Sainz just seems very comfortable in the Ferrari. Like, he just seems comfortable. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton's going to come in, a driver who has been, this is going to be really harsh, but complaining and whining about his car for years now.
Mm-hmm.
And big question there whether Carlos Sainz should stay at Ferrari. You've got this triangle with Sainz, Behrman and Hamilton. And at the moment, it's arguably the least fancied driver, the 7-time world champion who's got the seat. Where do we think Carlos Sainz is likely to go? Remember, we're going to tell you where he think he should go, which is a masterstroke move. But where do we think he's likely to go?
I think, personally, he's likely to go to Red Bull. Personally, he's got all the ties there. He knows the people. Horner's been talking about him. He knows Max. They're friends. I think personally he's going to end up going.
His dad as well.
His dad.
Big connections.
Yeah, but can you imagine Sainz Senior and
Josh Verstappen? Oh my God!
Can you imagine them together? It'd be mayhem.
Boxing. Yeah. Come through the academy there with Verstappen. Lots of links. It just makes sense on so many levels. But we think there's a big flaw to this, which is there's no way Carlos Sainz is going to beat Max Verstappen at Red Bull.
If Carlos Sainz has the ambition to win a title, there's no point going to Red Bull while Max is there.
Let us know in the comments if you agree with that. Now, there's obviously other seats he could go. Arguably, the most obvious one is Mercedes. It's a sort of a straight swap with Lewis Hamilton. That would be incredible because then Carlos Sainz will have driven for Toro Rosso, so part of the Red Bull family, Renault, which people forget about, McLaren, Ferrari, and then Mercedes. So he's ticking them all off.
It's halfway through the grid.
I think that shows incredible adaptability, by the way. That maybe has come down from, his dad has great experience with that. But what do you think about Carlos Sainz at Mercedes?
If Carlos Sainz, me personally, on my own personal opinion, if Carlos Sainz goes to Mercedes, he will be the number one driver for Mercedes. I don't rate George massively. I rate Carlos a lot higher. And logically, it makes sense him going there. Mercedes are eventually going to get back together. Even on their days where they're not, I know they didn't score any points this weekend, but even on the days they're not knocking it out of the park, they're still hanging around for good points. Yeah. It makes sense for him to go there. What do you think? Where do you think?
I feel like it's a place where his career would go to die a little bit. You think about, I don't think he'd be a number 2 driver at Mercedes like we've seen with Valtteri Bottas or we've seen with Nico Rosberg, arguably. But I feel like it would sort of peter out his career. So we think there's a masterstroke for Carlos Sainz, and when you connect all of the dots, it just makes so much sense. So we have a massive manufacturer coming to Formula One. It's not Andretti, but it is Audi.
Yep.
Who Carlos Sainz Senior has recently won the Dakar Rally with history with Audi there.
Yep.
Factory driver for Audi, so part of the Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche Motorsport Group.
It's well funded. It's going to be well backed.
They're doing incredible in WEC at the moment with their Porsches really taking on.
Oh yeah, anything which the VW group enters, they win.
Yeah.
Formula One's very different to a lot of other motorsport. But I reckon they'll get there.
And they've recently upped their stake in what they're doing. That they've actually
Yep.
committed even more. So can we visualize that for people watching? Carlos Sainz at Audi as a factory lead driver. Could it be akin to the Lewis Hamilton masterstroke move to Mercedes back in?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're going to be going through the same period. Whole new brand new engine spec like Mercedes had when Hamilton went over. Brand new manufacturer. Mercedes. Remember, they weren't really a manufacturer before Hamilton went. They had a season in it when they bought it off Braun, but they didn't have a lot of it. It's all they need a lead driver. It was massively rumoured to be Lando before he signed this mega contract with Mercedes. So Audi are looking for a lead driver. Who you got on the list? You got Carlos Sainz. You got Danny Rick.
Or bring back Sebastian Vettel.
Bring back Vettel, but
I just think Carlos Sainz going to Audi is so tantalising. They're having a whole sort of army machine around him. And I can't really think of any better drivers to build your whole programme about.
exactly.
So Carlos Sainz has final point here, but an interesting one. For the rest of the season at Ferrari, what happens if he is outscoring Charles Leclerc? Are we going to see team orders? How does that make Ferrari look really stupid?
Oh, you say, are we going to see team orders? They called off the team. They called off from racing very early in Australia. They called off the race, so they weren't. There was no team orders going on there. It was Well, I suppose it is team orders in a way, but
they want to prevent that situation.
Yeah, but they didn't want Leclerc to win. They're very neutral, and there's another point as well. Sainz just looks so relaxed. He's got no pressure on him. He doesn't matter win, lose, or whatever. He knows he hasn't got a seat next year.
That's a really good point. Yeah,
he's driving a man with no pressure in the second best car, outperforming his teammate. Just had surgery. What's he got to lose?
I think if Carlos Sainz had not had surgery in Saudi and had a average points, he'd be leading the championship right now.
Yeah, I think he would have. I mean, Behrman got seventh,
yeah.
Like that, yeah. You can guarantee Sainz would have got higher than that.
Yeah.
As well as Behrman did, you can guarantee he would have got higher than that. He would have been probably leading the championship, I'll tell you. He is currently 11 points off Max with a race.
With a missed race.
Yes.
Although Max has also missed a race, different reasons. But so there we go. Carlos Sainz, we think is a really interesting story developing. The Audi move, it could be an absolute game changer. But we want to know what you think. This is your show. There's no censorship here. We're not a big company. It's just two guys, two racers talking about Formula One. So let us know, please, what you think about Carlos Sainz. Is he going to be a future world champion? Let us know in the comments, and we will see you next time.